Even when they have a mandatory, I think Dillian Whyte might be the mandatory for, I think it's WBC. He's been mandatory for over 600 days.
That's a travesty.
600 days.
That's a travesty. When my blood pressure wasn't high enough a minute ago, you had to go there? You had to go to Dillian Whyte?
I'm sorry.
You had to go to Dillian Whyte? That's a travesty. He's been a mandatory. They have avoided him and disrespected him as a mandatory for a year and a half beyond when he was supposed to get his mandatory. 600 days. It's supposed to be 9 months. 600 days.
Can you explain?
A year and a half extra.
Can you explain,
that they made him sit?
Can you explain when you're the mandatory, what does it exactly mean? Clearly, it doesn't mean anything. Usually 9 months.
Usually 9 months, whatever the time is on that organization.
That the champion has 9 months to fight to make that
Listen,
fight.
Has there been through the history of the sport where you give them a step-aside fee? You give them a step-aside fee to extend the mandatory, to say, let us fight this fight because it's a big money fight, and in all fairness, it's a bigger fight. People would rather see it in the sport. It can make more money for everybody. So you're still the mandatory, but allow us to give you some money to step aside,
and it's usually significant money, just for the record.
So we can extend this a little bit and get this big fight that might not be there later on that the fans want to see. I got you.
Yeah,
I have no problem. Cool. No problem. But no. That's not what they're doing.
How do they avoid
That's not what
him?
they're doing. Listen, because the sport, the only thing noble about this sport is the fighters and what they do when they get in the ring, inside that chamber of truth. That's the only thing truthful about this sport. There's nothing else truthful about it. There's nothing else noble about it. There's nothing else significant about it or worth applauding about it or virtuous about it. It's just the fighters getting in the ring and laying it on the line, and how they're willing to do that and to face their own doubts, their own shortcomings, to put that all there for the world to see and see who's better and who can be better. That's the only thing noble about the sport. The rest of it's not. And, you know, I don't give a frick no more about people that they don't want to live within those quarters of truth. You know, so they rather live their life where, you know, maybe they do things wrong too, so I don't care if somebody else is doing something wrong. That's the way you want to live your life? Go ahead. I'm no perfect guy. I'm no saint at all. But I care about what I have control of what I know to be right and wrong, and what I can allow myself to know to be right or wrong, and to make myself be conscious of what's right and wrong and behave accordingly, and to hope that that is the right way in living, and to believe that's the right way in living, and to believe that that is the right way in parenting, and examples to show to your kids. So, but, you know, it's just, as far as Dillian Whyte, what they're doing to this kid, he's improved. They threw him in too quick with Joshua. He got stopped, and he's improved tremendously since then. He's matured. He's become a better fighter, a more together fighter, a tougher fighter. He's a good body puncher. He's aggressive. He's fan-friendly. He's strong. He's physical. He's beaten good fighters. He's taken a risk. He's earned the right to be there. He's earned the right to freaking be there. You want a comparison to a sport, another tough sport, but a regulated sport? You want a freaking comparison? I'm going to give you one. I'm going to go down this road. It's going to make it even worse, what they're doing. That the champion, we already talked about the rest of it, the champion, Wilder, the champion, best puncher in the sport, right? Gutsy guy, too. Give him credit. Does a lot of things technically wrong, but what a tremendous puncher, and he's shown heart when he's had to show heart and all that. And he's always in shape, and he's always ready, and he's confident. So I give him credit for that. But where the hell do you get off? Where does the sport allow you to get off? Where you can actually dictate to Whyte and then not even hide it. And I want Rob, our great producer, to find this. He'll find this on this website so everyone out there can see it, because apparently a lot of you fans haven't made yourself verse of this. You haven't read this because you'd be in an uproar if you had. You'd be upset if you had. Let him get this article where he admits on one of these websites on one of these writers. He brags where Wilder says, yeah, they're talking about the issue of Dillian Whyte being a mandatory so long and where he hasn't gotten his just due and he hasn't gotten his shot and all that stuff. And he says, yeah, I told him. What I'm about to say, I can't freaking believe I'm saying it because it shouldn't be allowed to be said in a sport that calls itself a sport. That's supposed to be a regulated sport. He says, I told him, sign with us. I told him, sign with the PBC, sign with Al Heyman, you'll get the fight. Are you kidding me? That's called extortion. Go back to the 50s when Frankie Carbo, a murderer, the head of a mobster, ran boxing. He did that. He used to tell guys what they had to do. And they had to do it or they didn't get a shot. Frankie Carbo, Mr. Gray. He ran boxing. And there became something called the Kefauver investigations because of that. Senator Kefauver came forward and started an investigation into boxing that got Carbo and those people out of boxing. Got it out of boxing because of that. Where's Kefauver now? He's dead. But where are guys like Kefauver? Where are other senators? Why don't they come forward and do something like that? Where are they? And then not enough that he says, yeah. And he's bragging about it. He's not even afraid. You should be, don't let anyone hear you say that because that's not allowed. Of course, it's boxing. Everything's allowed. So he goes and he says, there's the story because I knew Rob would come through. It's right there. It's not Teddy Atlas saying it. Why nobody says anything about this? It's right there. So he's bragging. He says, yeah, we told Dillian Whyte, come sign with us and you get the shot.
Yeah, I gave him two options. I told him sign with the PBC when he came over from the network shopping or whatever he was doing here. So I told him, yeah, just sign with us, a one-fight deal, no problem. We'll get that fight on. We can get it on. I'll give you the shot. But that was the one time. Strike.
Yeah. And then strike two. You know what strike two? It's not enough that he oh, my God. Oh, it's not enough that he admits to basically a criminal act. I mean, in some places. I mean, really, extortion in some places. It's not enough that he's saying that he's extorting somebody. Then he goes around and he says, strike two. He said, you know what? I gave him the chance. Then I said to him, fight Ortiz. Who are you to tell who's going to fight? You're the fighter. Fight Ortiz. Fight Ortiz and then I'll fight you. Who are you to dictate that? That would be like Tom Brady in the NFL, a regulated sport, a tough sport, but a regulated sport, Ken. That would be like Tom Brady telling the Kansas City Chiefs after they earned their right, the way Dillian Whyte earned his right to play the New England Patriots next. They earned their right. Kansas City earned their right. That would be like Tom Brady saying, nah, go and play New Orleans. And then you can play us. No, that's what it would be like.
Well, I know what you're saying. By the way, shout out to Bad Left Hook. They put up awesome content. They're the ones who posted this article. I just want to credit them there, badlefthook.com. One other thing that he says here.
Do you understand the significance? Tom Brady can't tell the Kansas City Chiefs, we ain't playing you, I'm not playing you. You got to go play New Orleans, and then I'll consider playing you. I'll play you then. Can't do that.
One other thing that he says here is he says, yeah, fight a one-fight deal. What people don't know, and I know this from some fighters, one of them's fighting on the Pacquiao card. If you don't have a promoter and you want a shot against the champion of a particular promoter, they're going to say, oh, yeah, it's a one-fight deal. Unless you win, then in which case I get your next 3 fights to promote. And a lot of times they have those clauses that we talked about earlier off the air about where it rolls over at a certain thing. You win this fight, now I got you for 2 more fights. No one's going to give you a shot against their champion if you don't have a promoter without signing with them in the case that you win. So even this, sign a one-fight deal and it's on. Yeah, unless you win, in which case then now we're going to Al Heyman will have the next 3. And that's not picking on Al Heyman. That's just the way it works. So this whole comment is out of context. Like no one would say, come fight my champion, one-fight deal. And if you win, off you go, sign with another promoter. That would never happen in a million years. Why would a promoter do that? So this whole thing is getting crazy. And, Dillian Whyte's on the outside looking in. He's with the Zone. And now Al Heyman's got Andy Ruiz and
now instead of, I think he'll win it. I hope he wins it.
Yeah.
But instead of fighting for what he deserves, title,
yep,
he's got to fight, I think, Rivas, the undefeated fighter from, I forget where he's from, but I believe he's an undefeated. He's fighting him instead.
Yeah.
And I think fairly soon. I think Rob will probably look it up and see exactly what the calendar tells us. But he should be fighting for the title. He should have fought for the title already. And the last thing I'll say about this organization with these belts, you know, they have devolved. I didn't think, I'll give them credit. Yeah, Ken, I'm giving them credit. I didn't think they could go any lower. They have devolved into basically these shops that make these knockoffs on Canal Street down in Chinatown, where you could go into these places, right? You know where they are.
Oh, yeah.
You go into a place in Canal Street, downtown Manhattan, and you could get a Louis Vuitton knockoff bag. You know, the handle might fall off like on your way to the subway. You know, you better give it to your wife really fast, like delicately, like carry it like this. And here, honey, I just made some extra money, and I love you. I love it. And then run, run, because if it's raining when you give it to it, it turns purple. All right, but that's what these belts have devolved into. They're knockoffs. I mean, you could get a Gucci belt. You could get a Louis Vuitton bag. You could get, that's what these belts are. They have the same value. They have the same relevancy of these knockoffs at this point. I mean, that's what they are.
One of them just came out with a pearl belt.
So if you want a WBC,
belt,
IBF belt, go to Canal Street. You'll probably find one. You'll probably get one. They're for sale. On Canal Street.
The last thing I want to touch on there is one of the guys that I know we're both really high on is
Dillian Whyte, by the way, Rob put up for us. So he is.
He's fighting on July 20th.
Yeah, and Rivas' record, I think
same night as the Thurman fight.
Oh, 20. I was going to say 24-0.
26-0 with 16 knockouts. Is it 16 or 18?
18.
All right. Yeah. All right, but we saw Schwartz, who was 24-0 with 16 knockouts, and
no, I mean, listen, Rivas is better than Schwartz.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I'm going to pick Dillian Whyte to win that fight. Obviously, they feel good about it. They're going in the fight, but and I like Dillian Whyte. And people would say I'm going to bat for him. I'm going back to bat for what's right.
Exactly. We have no affiliation with Dillian Whyte.
You can just
be a fan of
what's right.
Exactly.
That's all.